Wah! What's happening, folks? It is more official than a ref with a whistle, and you're posted with me, PG on Radio PG. And ladies and gentlemen, we do have my broski.
It's your boy Cap Drosky.
And our very, very special guest, my man coming through hot as a flame but no fire. Everybody make some noise for Joel Byars. You already know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, guys, we're turning up in here.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Got a couple of, yes, you can follow me on Instagram as always at P Diddy Boppa, PDIDDYBOPPAH, and I'll be black if that's all white with you.
And I am KAPDROSKI. I'm the first white guy to pop up.
Yes, indeed. There's your Instagram, sir.
And I am the white guy that pops up on every. If you just Google white guy, I'm the default image that pops up.
Like, very likely, yeah.
At Joel Byars, comment on everything. At Hot Breath Podcast on everything.
And how you spell that, Joel Byars? Just for the others.
JOELBYARS. It's Byars, not ers. No hard R's around here.
No hard
He's
R's.
only asking that because I spelled it wrong in the text message.
Everybody
and he didn't say
does.
shit back. He
I
was
didn't.
like, all right, whatever.
I know what he's talking about.
Everybody spells it wrong. It's cool.
But I have a couple shows coming up for the month. On the 13th, I will be at Old Vining's Inn show. Mookie G will be hosting that. The 15th, I will be at Zany's in Nashville, the comedy out the Yazoo. The 18th, I'll be doing comedy out the LOLs at Cafe Zodiac on Cobb Parkway. Well, pull up. 23rd, I will be at the Best of Atlanta Boutico. I hope I'm saying that right. 8 p.m. and then the 25th, Best of Atlanta at the Omni Hotel at the Battery. Yes, indeed.
Fancy.
Mm-hmm. You have any shows, Mr. Joe Byars?
Yeah, I'm in. When does this come out?
Tonight, probably.
This comes out tonight. I'm in Duluth tomorrow night, headlining there. I'm in Birmingham
Humble brag.
Sunday. Just a humble brag. My wife thinks I'm actually working.
Heard.
And the big shows, the 23rd, I'm in Florence, South Carolina, and the 24th and 25th of January, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. And the big date is February 1st, my comedy special, The Trophy Husband, comes out. So holla at your boy, pull up on a kid, skirt.
Pull up on your, no, what is it? Holla at your boy like your dad when he's pissed off.
Okay. I don't. My dad wasn't around, so I don't know.
Heard.
You know, people talk, they just throw it on you.
He just assumes like you had a dad.
You're white. You had a dad, right? Like he was around. He never left. Do you have any shows, Mr. Capdrowskis?
Yep. I don't know what they call it though. I know I got Laugh Score early February. I'm in Athens, Georgia again early February. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina at the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably start writing this stuff down.
Where are you in Columbia?
I'm at a gay bar, so it's probably not.
It's gonna be lit.
I'm at the Comedy Closet.
Yeah.
The 24th and 25th.
He said gay club. You're coming out the comedy
Mine's
closet.
the Comedy Closet. Yeah.
It's probably the same place. It's gonna be a great time.
I have more questions about Columbia now. So. I actually went to high school out there. I know exactly where you're going to be at. You're going to be 15 minutes outside of the city.
Oh, okay.
I'll be downtown, I want to say off of Main Street.
Cool.
Yeah.
Your venue's bigger.
But for those of you who do not know Joe Byars, he has his own show called the
Hot Breath Podcast.
Hot Breath Podcast. Well, this is the Hot Breath Water.
That's for you too.
This is for me.
You've been a loyal listener, man. I had to holler at your boy.
You know, he made this water just by breathing into it for a very long time.
Exactly.
And it condensated itself into this beverage.
Yep.
And it is cold hot breath right here, folks. But you have done some very, very interesting interviews. I think you said you've been doing the podcast for 4 years.
Yeah.
What made you start doing the podcast, Hot Breath?
Well, I wanted to create a show that I wish existed. I had heard a bunch of comedians with podcasts, and they were all in there just trying to out-funny each other. And I was like, well, I want to learn. I want to hear comedians talk about the craft. And
Right.
all my favorite moments of comedian podcasts were when they did talk about the craft. And I was like, let me just create the show I want to hear. And it's all about, like, just how you can be funny and interviewing the most successful people in the game about how they got there.
And like, I'm gonna tell you something, you like Steph Curry out here with these interviews. My man shoots all the shots. Like, if you ever see anybody coming to the city of Atlanta for 6 hours, Joel Byars, they are only here for 6 hours. Joel Byars is definitely backstage at that show already.
Yep.
Suit and tie, ready to fly.
Yeah,
like, he's more official than a rep. I'm like, oh, you hitting the stage tonight? He was like, nah, it's hot I was like, oh, you know Luenell's here. He was like, I know.
Yeah. Alright, man.
You know JJ from the Sips here. I know.
Oh, I know.
He's like, hey, did you know Cedric the Entertainer's gonna be here next week? Bet you didn't know.
Yeah, I drove to Macon to get him. I drove like 2 hours to get him backstage at his show, yeah.
And you see it, like, I like that about you, and I've been doing that too. Like, I like, just shoot your shot. Nobody's just gonna be like, you know what? I want to come on your show. I want to come on your show. You got to make that shit happen.
There's a couple people.
A couple.
Yeah.
You know, miraculous or miracles do happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very proud of your show, Hot Breath. It's kind of slick the reason why I started mine. I couldn't get on at Cats. That's why I started doing mine. That's the only reason. I was going there for months. And like my little brother was like, yo, you meeting all these comedians, like all these really cool people having these talks like in the green room outside at Cats or what have you. He was like, why don't you bring them to your place and just talk about this and the third? I was like, that's a good idea. And you know, but
It's work. You get on the Cats now.
I have been on the Cats now. Like,
Congrats, man. That's big. That's why I came here, because I see you out here like hustling with it. You're doing all the right things, just being consistent and kind of paving your own path. That's what I'm all about.
All right, but I listened to a couple of interviews you had. Like I listened to the Miss Patt one, the interview with Cedric the Entertainer. And, you know, he was talking about like sticking it out, sticking to your crap. You're talking about you called him Cheerio.
Yeah.
That shit. I didn't know what was happening right there. He was like, Cheerio.
See, that's one of those slick, like, I do all this research, you know. I mean, as soon as I knew I was going to interview him, I just dove head first. I'm like a private investigator with these interviews, you know. I go all hands on deck to
that man was like, I know what your GPA was in 4th grade. I talked to Miss Robinson. She's still alive.
Yeah.
I went and met her.
So him being Cheerio was just something I picked up on, and I just threw it into the intro real quick, just to let him know that.
And that was a good energy. Like he was a little surprised by that. He didn't think Jay Beasy knew anything about said.
Yes, sir.
You already know what the fuck going on.
Yes, sir.
And I was just I don't know if we can talk about the trophy.
Yeah, we can talk. Yeah, let's talk about the trophy husband.
The trophy husband. You heard when you speak, my man don't ever cheat. Trophy husband, okay?
Already.
Hold it up. What is a trophy husband, by the way?
A trophy husband is just a man that helps out by any means necessary. You know, the cooking, the cleaning, whatever keeps the wife working.
That's me.
That's you?
I do that.
My man.
You know, I'm not the best cleaner, but I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I feel like I get a trophy. It's probably not as shiny as that one, but you know, you get a trophy for 3rd place.
Yeah, man.
But what are some of your favorite other podcasts that you listen to, or like that helps you draw it on your own?
I like to listen to things outside of comedy and see what I can adapt to comedy, you know. So NPR's How I Built This is one of my favorites. They just interview entrepreneurs that have built successful businesses on there. That's what I kind of adapt that into Hot Breath, to where I'm interviewing these comedians about how they built their career and their own success. I mean, I'll listen to Joe Rogan occasionally when I feel like killing time. You know, if there's 3 hours to just fill
3 hours
there with, yeah. I like to listen to podcasts I learn from, though. So it's a lot of like educational podcasts I'll listen to. There's a great one called Impact Theory, hosted by Tom Bilyeu, who's like a multi-millionaire. He started Quest Nutrition, and now he just interviews like the top minds in the world just about how they got to where they are and the systems they've created that help other people get there as well. So I'm all about learning and absorbing from higher people that hopefully one day
get to where you are.
Exactly. It's kind of being and surrounding yourself. I consider my podcasts and like all the content I consume as part of like my diet. So it's like I feel like your diet is more than just food. I feel like it's what you watch, it's what you listen to, and you become a product of that environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like things you put inside of your brain, not necessarily inside of your stomach, what you surround yourself with as well. And speaking of surrounding yourself, I saw the dope interviews too. I didn't know you interviewed Andrew Schultz.
Yes, sir.
What was it? Andrew Schultz, Ian Edwards, Cedric the Entertainer, Tyler Chronicles, Luenell, Mark Norman. I am hella name dropping. Dusty Slay.
Yeah.
JJ from the City, and Miss Patt. This is quite impressive, sir.
It's almost 200 interviews, man.
Boy.
We've almost done 200.
And he was like, that's why he keeps saying, I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's never home. Joe Byars is always out here. That's why the wife's always like, yeah, you out there with these hoes that ain't loyal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm always doing Instagram stories, so she knows
So
I'm not slipping out.
He was like, yeah, FaceTime, just out here with the boys.
Yeah, it's not even for the followers, it's for my wife at home. I'm safe, honey, I'm safe.
He's like, yeah, just over here in Lil 5 point, not Lil 5.
Yeah,
Your
man.
gunshot go off, I'm safe, honey, everything's fine.
So
it's all about it.
You ask a lot of questions on your live, and you really talk to people and engage with people. And I've literally gone on there a couple times and told you I'm gonna use this as a comedy credit.
Yeah.
What made you want to have a podcast where you literally get to ask people and talk to them about the craft and still want to engage people? Because that's not a given. Everybody's not going to do that.
It wasn't even something I really had to give any thought to. It just kind of organically happened. I mean, everything I'm doing in my career is like, I wish this existed. Well, why not create it? You know, so the same thing with the podcast, the same way I interact with my audience. Like, anybody knows if someone reaches out to me, they're hearing back from me.
Yes.
Like, they may get a video saying, what's up, thank you. Like,
Right.
I go out of my way to make sure I'm engaging with people and making sure that if anyone has a question or like they have a comment, like, I feel like that's been the secret to the growth of the show. Because at this point, I've heard from people in India, in Ireland. I mean, literally every continent but Antarctica right now. I've heard from people who listen to the podcast. And I think it's because I've just been so outgoing.
And engaging with people.
Yes. Yeah.
So Antarctica has a large population of deaf people. Don't wait for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Antarctica?
Yeah, or they're blind too.
Yeah, it's like a lot of deaf and blind out
We're
there.
going to get Antarctica. We're getting Antarctica.
I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna draw some pictures. I'm gonna hand you some cards. I'm gonna act it out. Get real close to you. But you do a lot of things. I was looking at that too when I was doing my research about you. You had a writing class. I don't know if you still do it.
No, I used to do more classes. I do more like Skype sessions now with people. Like I'll go one-on-one sessions, and when I'm out on the road, I'll do workshops. Like I was touring a lot last year, and in the towns I go to, I'll set up writing workshops with the local comics. But I used to do classes and things, but I just got so busy on the road. I've been booked like almost every weekend, so it's kind of gotten in the way of all that. Humble brag. Hey, honey, I'm booked. Honey.
He's like, I'm not on the road just because I'm actually very popping right now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to see.
Let's take it in pieces here. I mean, it's stage time, but we're looking for the money this year.
He's I'm trying to get that bag real
But
quick.
it's like, I think that's one thing comics need to understand is it's such a process. Like, I didn't start getting consistently booked till last year. That was 9 years into the game. So, and I was getting like booked on more headliner work and things like that. But up until last year, I mean, a lot of it was just consistent hustling, just staying on stage. I didn't even worry about branding or really making money or making this like my full-time thing until I was like 6 or 7 years in.
How long? Well, you've been doing it 10 years?
February 1st will be 10 years. So that's why I'm releasing the special on February 1st, because it's my 10-year comedy anniversary.
Okay.
So just for a map of everybody, you started doing comedy for 6 years, created a podcast for another 3 years, and then you started getting booked.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think, well, I can make a show and then I can just throw a guard. No, it doesn't work that way.
No, and it's kind of creating your own success along the way. You know, I hosted a show here in Atlanta for 7 years. And then the place burned down, which I didn't do. I feel like I need to say that every time.
I need to say that.
I didn't do it. But I mean, it really was, everything I did was just kind of like, okay, I'm not really getting booked. Okay, let me start my own weekly show. I'm not really getting booked in the city. Okay, let me try to get booked outside the city. You know, it's at this point, there's no excuse. You can find your own path. You can create your own lane. Hosting your own show, I think every comic should host their own show at least once, just to understand the business and just what goes into producing a show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like before I did, I don't know, I had a little show or whatever many moons ago before I should have even had one. But when I started thinking about Maury Sims, like for example, like he does like 7 or 8 rooms. I don't even know, like a week. So like whenever I used to see him before, he like would perform at Cats. You know, I'd be like, hey, my name is Piere. I've been doing stand up. Like, you know, all these years. She was like, yeah, that's cool. It's on the paper.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, cool. And then I would do, and I remember for like 8 weeks in a row, he was like, yeah, just sign the paper. I'll put you up first next week at the end of the night for like 8 weeks in a row. And then I was at Monticello. Landon, Ronnie, Tyler, and Remo were there. He saw me talking to him. He comes up and goes, "Are you a comedian?"
Yo, everyone has a Maurice story.
Right. It was at that moment. I wasn't even mad. I was like, I realized he does not remember any damn time. Like, it's not even just me. He don't know shit about me. He was like, he does all these rooms, so there's always somebody coming up like, "Hey, I'm this person."
Because everybody thinks Maurice is just a Tuesday. It's like, no, bro.
No.
Maurice got shit from Tuesday to Sunday.
Like,
Monday is a maybe, but Tuesday
right.
to Sunday he's at a different room. So
every night of the week, man.
I'm like, so you just got to keep going out there, keep bombing, keep getting better at it. Don't cry when you bomb. At least not on stage. I would just wait until you go into the bed.
Yeah, don't get jealous or upset about someone else getting like something that you want or you're not getting. I say I didn't really start getting consistently booked till 9 years in. I have friends who have been on Conan within 4 years. So everyone has a different path in this game. So that's just my unique path. But the sooner you can get the mindset to not get jealous of other people and appreciate what you have and focus on what you can control, the further you're going to get in this game. It took me a long time to get the mindset of like, okay, let me just focus on what I can control and just build what I can build and not worry about all these outside factors that I can't even put a hand in. It's just kind of like, they got that. That's great for them. But what can I get for myself?
I tell everybody, it's not a comparison either. It's not a competition. Like, there are hundreds of successful comedians, and it's not like there's only X amount that they can accept. I was like, bro, if 100 people that are fire, they are looking for 100 people that are fire at it. I'm like, so just do your best.
You just got to keep working. You never know who's looking. Like, we're sitting here with Joe Byars and the Hot Bro Podcast.
Right. People may not think this is a big deal.
Oh, this is a big deal.
This is a big deal.
We out here.
But on the same note, have you ever been on Adult Swim?
Have I been on Adult Swim?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you
cool.
working, you don't know who's watching. So
just
keep moving, keep working, keep shooting, keep jiving.
Oh, I see Piere moving out here for sure.
Man, I'm Millie rocking out here.
I like any comic that is doing things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? A lot of the times you can get complacent and stuck in a rut and just stay comfortable, but you're out of here doing things, comedy drip, you know what I mean? So, I appreciate the hustle all the way for sure.
Now, have you ever been starstruck meeting somebody in the 10 years you've been doing stand-up?
We're talking about Christian Davis starstruck. Like, people notice.
Christian Davis starstruck?
Like, oh my God! Like, Chris Davis loses his shit.
In the green room.
Yeah. Like, in the green room.
Yeah. It's just us.
Who was that for?
Okay, like
Finesse Mitchell.
Yeah, he did that for him.
He did that to me.
I know Mandel did it with Hannibal Buress.
Oh, okay.
Dylan Toops also with Hannibal Buress. There was somebody else we had, Michael Rowland. He said the same thing. It was that same night at the 1 a.m. show with Hannibal Buress.
It was like 4 people with Hannibal.
He said, dude, I was so drunk, and I was like, man, Hannibal, you're the reason I'm doing stand-up, man. He was like, get the fuck away from me. And I was like, all right, yeah.
Really? Oh my God.
And I was like, all right.
So the 1 a.m. show, Hannibal goes on at 2. Yeah, they drunk as fuck.
Right.
Oh.
Man, yeah, I can't think of anyone where I was just like, oh, I remember when I walked in the room with Ced, I was like, oh, it's actually happening. Because I'm at a point now, I don't get too hyped on an interview until like after it happens. Because I've been to where it's like, yeah, let's meet at this time at that place, and then they like just don't show up or something has happened before in the early days. So I don't really get overhyped. So when I got into the room with him, I met him, and he's like, all right, let me change, then we'll do it. And I was like, all right, cool, I got to meet him, but we still may not do the interview or whatever.
Right.
And then as soon as we were doing the interview, I was like, oh, okay, I'm interviewing Century Entertainer. Cool, let's all right, just listen to him and react, and just have fun, and you're prepared and all this. I think preparation helps me to not freak out.
Right, especially if you just, like you say, what's about to happen.
Yeah, and I try to be in the mindset that I'm supposed to be here as well. Not to have the imposter syndrome, but really because I've been to the Comedy Store and I've stood next to Joe Rogan. I haven't talked to him, but at the Comedy Store, the halls are lined with just every comedian that's anybody is in there.
Right.
So just being in that environment kind of gets you a little more used to it. But I'm sure if I was in the green room with all those guys, I would just be sitting there okay, this is cool.
Right.
Right, cool.
I'm the new guy.
So I haven't been completely starstruck and silent yet.
Cap was you're that person that's just like,
But right, dude.
is that next to acting like you're not trying to get a selfie?
But it's cool to meet people and just realize, oh, they're just like
People.
they're just people. My favorite part about interviewing Sed was actually after the interview. Like we hung out after the show. We were all in his green room for like 2 hours just chopping it up, and that was even more fun than the actual interview because then you got to be around him and be like, oh, he's just a person like everyone else.
So you call him
Sed
Sed too? You call him Sed too?
I didn't even mean when you popping out here.
Yo, Sed has no idea I call him Sed. It's Mr. Cedric the Entertainer. That's what I call him.
I just noticed that you had Sed,
You know the boy Sed out here.
It's like Johan said when he was like, whenever you go out to LA and you're an alumni with NBC, you know how that goes, right?
He's like, what?
We're like, huh? He's like, oh, you ain't never been an alumni?
You never won the competition?
Oh. He's like, well, when you fly first class.
We're like in first class.
Right, we're like, sorry, Johan, say that didn't work out for us.
No, yeah.
His first time doing stand-up was on MTV, like on Yo Mama.
Oh, Yo Mama? Oh,
Like,
okay.
very first time. And I was like, so what tell about your first bomb? And he said, well, I ain't bombed for a couple years.
Oh, wow.
Because his first time was 6 months from his second. And his second time, he was on TV too.
Right.
Jesus. Everybody has a different path,
Yeah, like that's a dope shit because he was like, he was wondering what he was gonna do with his life. All his friends were in college. He was in Chattahoochee Tech. He's a little bullshit college. He said right after the MTV Yo Mama, I came home and it was a check in the mail for like $37,000.
What?
Yeah, first time doing stand up.
Because he won.
What?
$37,000. I was like, he's like, yeah, and then next time we went and did stand was on TV, went and got a couple more thousand. I was like, this might be it for me.
Wow.
And he said, and then like, the third, fourth, and fifth time was for free. That didn't feel too good.
The third, fourth, fifth,
Right, he said,
all
then
free, right?
the rest of them wasn't that popping either. But
But then at the same time, you skipped over it, bro. You talking about 1 year where you made roughly about $50,000 off of technically 2 shows. That's what I'm saying. And only performed 5 times the whole year.
Wow, man.
And then there's Zachary Wright, who's, he started stand-up when he was like 14.
Yeah.
And he said his mom used to take him to comedy clubs, and he used to stand outside like the Punchline and stuff, and they would bring him in and escort him right out.
That's my fucking
Michael Rowland said he did the same thing when he was like 10.
Yeah, but I know Zach.
10?
Yeah.
So he said his mom used to take him around to talent shows and stuff like that, and
Wow.
I was like, Jesus, so it'd suck if you were ass at this point. He was like, yeah, it'd be terrible.
Those are the people I'm jealous of. I don't care if they do comedy. I'm like, even if you want to be a fucking burger flipper, your mom taking you around at 12 years old.
12 years old.
If I'm like, bro, somebody cared you like,
God with the burger flips.
you should be SpongeBob at 12. Like, you should know how to do shit at 12. Fuck Squidward, like, I'm
I'm honey Krabby Patties, bro. You just out here at 12
I'm like,
years old.
but your mom took you around that you basically do a job that at the end of the day, we're just freelancing.
Yeah.
And your mom is taking you there, taking your money. I don't even know if that's child labor. She can't even split it with you.
This is
that's
green.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah,
He's
I
always
watched Dave Chappelle just got the Mark Twain Award, and in his speech he was like thanking his mom because she used to drive him around to clubs, and they'd be out late and she'd have to be up for work early, but she would drive him to the clubs early on. And look where he ended up.
Couldn't get my mom show my basketball game.
People ask me all the time, like, does your mom come to shows? I was like, first, my mom or my wife don't come to the shows. I was like, because they don't think I'm funny.
Huh? Oh,
my mom straight up said it when he came over. Everybody meets my mom. Like, you ever been to a show? She was like, oh, he's corny.
I love her mom.
Wow.
I was like, I'm corny. She was like, yeah, you a square. She was like, your whole life, you've been a square. She was like, but in the circle of life, there's hella different shapes. Not everybody can be a triangle. Not everybody can be a circle, so you're a square.
Now, 2 minutes later, she
That's
told me
love.
how well I dressed.
Right.
So I believe everything that woman says.
She said you dress well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What is he?
I had on
Was he
sweatpants.
dressed like this?
They had on fucking
Oh, she was
sweatpants.
flirting with him. He was in the sweatpants.
Call it what you want to, man.
No, that was the Star Bar alarm, but I'm going out of town.
Oh, is it still going?
Star Bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh, it's not closed?
Okay, so yes and no. So Star Bar, Rodney actually just put it on Facebook. This Monday, they didn't do it this last Monday or this Monday coming up, they're gonna be at the Earl.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And-
The venue closed though.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But the Star Bar has new ownership, and Rodney's been talking to the new owners, and he said they're still gonna let them do the comedy night on Mondays, but not this Monday. They're gonna start that like in February.
Whoa, interesting.
So until they bring the Monday nights back at Star Bar, they're gonna be at the Earl.
So they'll kind of see what money they're losing now when he gets to come back.
I suppose.
Long live Star Bar.
Wow, cool.
Like Rodney said, hashtag, we ain't dead yet. Stupid motherfucker, we ain't dead yet.
Yeah, that's the best.
I don't know what you're gonna do with your dick skins.
Get it together. He's the best, man.
He's a macho man, Randy Savage. That's his name. Ooh, yeah. Well, what is your definition of a bomb? I want to ask you that too. A lot of people have a different definition of it, but what is the best way?
Not even other people. What's a Joe Byars bomb?
Yeah, I don't think silence is necessarily a bomb. I mean, I think a bomb is where the audience hates you. I mean, getting booed is of course bombing. I think
that's a little different.
Yeah.
Getting booed is not bombing.
I think it's different than bombing.
It depends, because
I mean, it's
you can just, like, somebody can just start booing you. Like, everybody could be enjoying your set or whatever, and somebody can just start booing. Then other people just like, boo.
Yeah, Piere got to take my booed him. Like,
Oh, okay.
Well, you know.
I mean, you asked me what my definition of bombing was, but I mean, you want to negate mine right off the bat. You're like, what's your definition of bombing? Well, it's booing. Well, it ain't booing. I was like, all right.
What's your definition of sticks? Well, there are these things that fall with trees. Those are twigs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really just when nothing works, the audience hates you to the point they're on their phones, or you can just feel, you could feel, there's a moment when you're bombing and the audience is like sucking the energy out of you with their silence, and you're starting to shrink on stage, and you're sweating, and you feel it. You're getting like the body sweats and the neck sweats. That's bombing. But I don't think silence necessarily is bombing. There's a different silence. There's a silence where they're listening and they're waiting and they're engaged, and there's the silence that's just like, it's a vast, you're like in space.
It's a collective.
It's a collective silent
Ooh.
hate. Yeah, so bombing is really just when you can feel when you're bombing. It's a feeling you just never forget.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's like when you cook somebody something and they take a bite and they're just like, and you're like, you feel it like they didn't enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I forget who it was. It may have been Chris Jones, and he was like, he feels like, there's a couple of different answers. Like, he was like, he feels like if at any point, like, if you have the crowd, you have them. And at one point, any point, you just like lose them completely. He said, but even though you bring them back or whatever, he said, I still consider that a bomb personally.
Nah. I think if you get them back, I don't think you're bombing. I think a bomb is like an overall average of the set. Because you can go up and down and all.
Right.
I think as long as you end with the win, I mean, I don't think one missed joke is a bomb, in my opinion.
So let's say you just do this theater, 3,000 people, whatever. That's going great. Got an hour. You do one joke that's 7 minutes, and that shit goes horribly. What do you look at when you go back and say, all right, what was wrong here? Do you look at the way you brought it up? Do you look at just that one thing? Is it the crowd? Is it their fault? Like, how do you do what do you think about it when one part doesn't land?
Well, you take into context the audience. So it's important when you're at a show, it's like, okay, what day is it? What time is it? Is it a Friday at 10? Are they a little drunk? Is it Tuesday at 8 and they don't even know there's going to be a comedy show? Where am I? Am I in like a super conservative town that may not laugh at these certain topics? That may be why only that one chunk misses. I mean, I was in Chattanooga, and I have some stuff about like my family and like being white trash and like the country accent and all this. And the headliner actually, his name's David Scott. I had him on the podcast because he's been doing it like 30 years, and he just, so much game he dropped. But we were talking afterwards because all the white jokes weren't working, but everything else was working. So I would like get them going, and then I'd go into that, and they wouldn't laugh. And then I'd get them going again, and I kept, the whole set was like a battle.
It was like you're battling.
And he was like, you came off like, I was coming off condescending. They thought I was making fun of them.
Yeah.
So having that self-awareness, how are you coming off to the audience, but then also who is the audience? That will help kind of determine what went wrong and why.
Were you there for the Jeff Foxworthy when he was here at the Skull? Any of them?
Yeah, I went to one of them, yeah.
I like what he said. I don't remember which one. I think it was the second one. He was saying how important it is for like word economy. And he was like, he's had times where like the core of the joke is XYZ, for example. And he was like, the core of the joke is always funny, but sometimes you may say one or two words differently leading up to it.
Yeah.
And he said, and just those one or two words will make the entire joke just trash. And he was like, so whenever it becomes important to rehearse what you want to say and just know how you're going to say things and when you're going to say it. Because this happened to me. Like, I'll watch old sets, like jokes I've been doing for years, and I'll say like 2 words differently, and then nobody will laugh at it. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's why it's so important to record all your sets, because a joke that has been working for a long time all of a sudden stops. You may be setting it up wrong. You may be forgetting a key word within there. I mean, that's why comics, when they film a special, they record it like 4 times, because they want to make sure if they flub anything, they'll get it right on that next set. You know, it's a script at the end of the day.
And how long have you been doing like long sets?
Like headlining stuff? I mean, last year was really when I've been getting the most momentum with it. I mean, I had done some headlining periodically here and there, mainly featuring for a lot of it, and I'm still featuring as well, but I'm getting, like my gig.
Humble brag.
My Joe, I'm 10 years in, man. It's about time I'm working.
He's like, let me get it.
There's
All right.
no bragging, man. It's just like, I've been paying my dues. I'm ready for the dues to start paying me.
Heard.
Oh, and even the phone was like, bing, bing.
You're like, but no, we got like 2 or 3 minutes left. That's all that means.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been doing headlining consistently as of like last year. But it all comes and goes. You know, you kind of go and get booked here and there, and you start to build a network. And when you're in these towns, make sure you're connecting with people and building your network, and then it'll build over time.
And it's like, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways, no, fuck, I want to remember now.
Headlining,
Yeah.
the comedy special,
Humble brags.
the Trophy Husband, February 1st.
He said just plug in.
Yo, man, I created it for comics, you know? I mean, like, I've been doing this 10 years. This is a moment where I'm going all in on myself. I produced, I put up all the money for this. I put everything together. A listener of Hot Breath, I did his podcast, and I was talking about I wanted to do a special, and he was like, yo, I have a production company, we can do this. So actually a listener of Hot Breath, Isaac Stackhouse, helped me put everything together. But I'm really doing this special to inspire other comics to do the same. Like, I want this to work, and I want comics to see it, because it'll inspire them that, oh, I can just invest in myself and create my own success.
You really can. It's all plausible and possible, folks.
Yes.
Can I make a request?
Yeah.
Once you do this special, February 1st,
Yeah.
Trophy Husband, can we get a button?
A button?
I just want a hot breath. Just
Oh,
one
hot
button.
breath
A pen.
button?
A button.
Oh.
Nah, I want fucking. I want hot breath. I want your
That you hit?
Your wife will destroy it?
Bro, I love that.
You know,
She'll be in the shower, you just cut the lights off. She's like, babe, what are you doing? Freak out in the shower.
I love that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Definitely more. I mean, I want this special to sell, so I can then start to reinvest into the podcast. I mean, I've got big visions and plans, but I need money.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not for free 99.
Welcome to the club.
yeah, man. That's the game, you know. But it's all for a good cause. It's all to reinvest into comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want y'all to thank Mr. Joel Byars for coming here and kicking with us.
JoelByersComedy.com. Pick up the special.
They're all on. You had some really great interviews with some even doper folks, guys. And I want to thank my broski, Cap Drowski. Woo! And folks, I am P the G on Ready PG. And thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll be black, if that's all white with you. Au revoir, bid you adieu. Adios, aloha, auf Wiedersehen, shalom, das vidanya, namaste, assalamu alaikum, alaikum wassalam.
See, I dress better.
He cheating!